and then I figure we can just move on to international stuff, because I know you wanted to talk about New Japan stuff, and I'm obviously down to talk about New Japan stuff. I haven't watched everything, but I'm definitely good to, like...
I'm sure you know all the major
spoilers. I've been keeping up with all the spoilers and everything. And with that, obviously, I want to talk about fucking Tomohiro Ishii becoming a Ring of Honor television champion.
Yes.
It's the greatest thing to happen in such a long time. And I'm sure you saw the fucking promo he cut, right?
I didn't see it, but I read it, yeah, which is so fucking good. Like, he's just like, fucking ROH is so boring. This Roderick Strong guy, he's nothing. Like, I don't even give a fuck.
He's just like, Roderick Strong's a bitch. If I beat the TV champion that, he's going to beat the whole run. I was like, dude, I don't care if Ishii is shooting or if this is what they told him to go for, but it's fucking awesome.
Welcome, cats and kittens, to another episode of Cewshcast. Not 5,000, no longer working title. We spent way too much time working on that shit, and obviously all it resulted in us was shortening the name and not really getting that creative. Can you be surprised? It's us. And of course, you might be a little surprised because we've had Cewsh doing the hosting duties recently, but it is me, the Psycho Soldier, here taking the reins once again. And the reason why is because Cewsh is actually being punished for something that he did, and he knows what he did. We know what he did. You'll know what he did soon enough. But first, we got to get to some important business. And of course, I can't get to any of this business by myself. So I still dragged Artie along. And Artie, I think it's time that you say hello to all these wonderful listeners.
Hello, my beautiful people out there. I'm very happy to be talking to you, and I know you're always happy to hear me and hear Psycho and not hear Cewsh.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, you hear Cewsh talk, and you're just like, damn it, here he goes. He's going to be right about something, and we're going to be pissed, and then he's going to be completely, absolutely wrong about something, and then we're going to realize, why do we even hang out with this guy? And we do just because somehow he brings the numbers. I don't get it, but we're not having him this time. I think we can run this show on our own once again.
I don't think we ever needed that fucking jabroni anyway. We all know who the main event talent is here. Us. And we all know who the other is. Cewsh.
Yeah, Cewsh is totally the Marty Jannetty, while me and Artie are... I guess we're like if you combine us, we're Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, but you're the Shawn, I'm the Michaels.
Yeah, but if you separate us, we're just a Dwayne Gill, and it's not that interesting. Kind of funny sometimes, out of a pity way.
Well, I guess it makes sense. I'll take it. I love me some Dwayne Gill anyway.
All right, so let's go ahead and get down to business. First thing first, we had some predictions for Fastlane, and of course we'll give a brief little idea of our thoughts of Fastlane, but before we get there, let's go ahead and tally up these points. So first off, Kalisto versus ADR for the United States Championship, 2 out of 3 falls. I still have not seen this match because I was late to the pay-per-view, and I plan to go back and rewatch it because I don't know whether it was good or not. I haven't really heard people's opinions, but they've had good matches before, so I want to see it. I said that Kalisto would win. I knew he would keep with that run. It just seemed weird to trade it back to Del Rio again. I was right. Artie and Cewsh thought that it would be going back to Del Rio because it seemed like a fitting spot for him and could potentially build to another match at WrestleMania, but they were wrong here. I got the point. They failed. Next up, Charlotte versus Brie Bella. We were all smart. We all got the point for it. There was no way Brie Bella was winning that, even though I was a little worried there for a second. Owens versus Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship. We all said Kevin Owens. It would have been stupid to put it on Dolph Ziggler. I no offense because I love the guy, but we need to go full throttle with Owens, and the belt needs to stop swapping around so much. Like, it needs to find a home somewhere. So we all got the point for that. Me and Artie wised up and got Lynch and Banks winning the tag team match against Team Bad because really there was no advantage to Team Bad winning, even if it could sow some seeds of dissension. They can do that with a victory or not. So Cewsh failed on the point there because he tried to be different, but hey, at least he tried to make things exciting. We all thought we were going to get an easy point with the Wyatt family versus the Titans of WWE. If you couldn't see, obviously, because this is audio, I did give quote fingers. We were wrong. The Titans won. It was bullshit. It made no sense. It was unnecessary. It kind of hurts the whole Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse angle they've been going for with these guys. I don't know why they decided to do it, but I do know that it cost all three of us a point. Not that it mattered, because it would have all of us getting a point, so it wouldn't have made any difference. Then for the final match, Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the right to face Triple H at WrestleMania. Ambrose is who I picked. Ambrose was not who won. I was being bold. I knew it was not smart, but I was trying to pull a Cewsh, and ultimately I think that might have cost me, as Artie and Cewsh got the points. And now, if you count that up, we have Cewsh with 3 points, which means he lost. Just outright the worst. That's why he's not here, because you can't have this dude sandbags all the time, and not purposely sandbags. He just is a sandbag. The guy cannot get a victory in predictions to help himself. He's won maybe 2 times in the 15 to 20 times we've had this competition.
I think so.
We've had our wars already, but you and me, we've both had our moments of glory. We have something to claim, something to hold on to and make us great. Whereas Cewsh has, that 15 minutes in the sun where he got lucky and we were too stupid.
I'm pretty sure he's won twice and then immediately lost it back the very next month.
Yeah, he hasn't even held on to it for more than a month. I guarantee we could go back and confirm this, but that's why Cewsh isn't with us. He needs to think about how much he sucks at these predictions and get better. In the meantime, me and Artie have a whole other predicament, because we're tied at 5 points again.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I guess in perfect fashion, we have tied up, because with our bonus question, does someone turn heel in the main event? Me and Artie both said no. If Artie had said yes, I could have won this. But instead, he had to be smart, unlike Cewsh, shame. And so we're at a draw, and I don't know what to do about it. I think we're just going to have to build this to WrestleMania.
I think this is the money feud going into WrestleMania. It's you and I in the predictions contest, and I'm going to embarrass you.
All right, and I'm sure Cewsh, will find some way to weasel his way into this match. But we're going to do everything in our power to keep him out. But we probably can't keep him out of the podcast any longer, because it's kind of his namesake, and there's royalty issues, and we don't want to go deal with courts. So me and Artie are your winners of the predictions contest for Fastlane. Cewsh is the loser yet again. Now, what did you think of Fastlane, Artie?
Oh, good Lord. Okay, where do I begin? The pre-show, I caught most of the match. It was solid. I mean, it wasn't great. I don't think ADR and Kalisto have the best chemistry. I think Del Rio just struggles with cruiserweights. And I liked it though. I thought the finish was pretty cool, and I love Kalisto. I like the fact that Kalisto always just gets the win. He's not a definitive winner of every match. He just gets the win with a roll-up or a quick Selena Del Sol or something. So I thought that was cool. And, the show being good pretty much ended at the pre-show. After that, it was just, what the fuck was going on? What was the IC? The IC title match was solid, Owens versus Ziggler, but predictable. There was not a chance Ziggler walked out there with the title. And
no.
Part of my problem with that is it's hard to get into a Ziggler match anymore for me, because I never it's not going to go anywhere. And he's reached that status to me where John Morrison was, kind of where The Miz is, where Kofi Kingston was prior to New Day, where if they win, they win. If they lose, it's expected.
Right.
So it's hard for me to get invested. Whereas when Kevin Owens loses, I get pissed. Because I think Kevin Owens should just win everything.
Yeah, I completely get that.
And then other than that, man, I thought the fucking New Day Jericho segment was fucking That was baloney.
You mean Edge and Christian?
Oh yeah, whatever. New Day, League
Same
of
thing.
Nations, Edge and Christian, Jericho, whoever. I thought that whole thing was just booty. And the main event triple threat was dope. I mean, how can you God, dude, Brock is such a beast, and Dean Ambrose did a hell of a sell job, man. Like, if you watch that match and you're like, oh, dude, who's the face they're trying to get over here? You wouldn't think it's Reigns. You think it's Ambrose because they keep making him look like such a badass.
They do. And, like, I love that they weren't shy about, like, I loved how, like, early on Ambrose is, like, one of the first guys who's just like, fuck it. I'm a suplex you, Lesnar. And, like, he attempts and then just, like, can't do it. And, like, it doesn't make him look like a bitch like some people might think. It just made him look like he, is in over his head. Like he's just like, fuck it. I can take Lesnar on his level, and maybe he quite can't, but he just keeps coming back, like he doesn't stop. He's just like that fly that keeps pestering around you until eventually you realize that fly is actually a bee and he's about to sting the fuck out of you. And like, I just love, like, really Ambrose came out looking fantastic in that match, and the follow-up on Raw was awesome too, which we could probably talk about that a little bit more after. But just like, I mean, Roman Reigns looks fine enough in that match. Like, I don't think this was one of his standout in-ring performances. I mean, it was really when it comes to these Lesnar triple threats, like everything's so focused on how do we handle Lesnar before we handle each other that like it just like takes a whole new dynamic. Like, it did remind me a lot of the triple threat with Cena and Rollins. I'd have to watch them back to back again because I didn't even watch the triple threat a second time yet. So I'd have to watch them back to back again to decide like which one I liked more exactly. But both like in a very same vein but different. And I feel like everyone, well, except for maybe Roman, unfortunately, I feel like everyone came out of it like looking really good at the end of it. Like it was just really well done. A lot of awesome spots, great character work, and ultimately a really satisfying match, even if the finish was less than desirable for some.
Yeah, I think everything but the finish was good. Like, I love the sell job by Ambrose where he kept falling into the ropes.
Yeah.
Like little things like that are what make Dean Ambrose, would take him from being a good performer to being a great performer. I like the way whenever Brock picks him up for a suplex, Ambrose looks like he's struggling. Like he wants to fucking get down because he knows what's coming on the other side,
Right.
And his facial expressions are just so on point. I thought the finish was pretty weak, where like Ambrose is mauling everyone with a chair, and then Reigns just wins with a spear.
Yeah, like I feel like there should have been like 2 or 3 minutes tacked on there. Ambrose comes in with the chair, it kind of runs it for a second, maybe teases the dirty deeds on the Lesnar or Reigns, and then Reigns somehow catches him with a spear somewhere. Something along those lines, because it just felt so sudden after such an awesome, badass moment.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, honestly, like, you took the level of intensity up to a 10, and then you ended it on a 4.
Right.
It should have been like Reigns should have speared him and then grabbed the chair, and like he got like a 2 count, grabbed the chair and looked at it, and the crowd's like, no, he's not going to use it, is he? And then, like, you have Brock get up, bam, Reigns takes him out, and then Dean gets up, and Reigns tosses him the chair and spears him on the chair, and then he gets the win. That would have made everyone look awesome at the end.
Right.
And I felt what they went with was kind of like, it was just like, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I felt. And it kind of had that same vibe of like Bryan versus Reigns, where, for some people like me, I'm a big Dean Ambrose fan. So I'm like a little touchy about the fact that Reigns got to kick out of a dirty deeds, but Ambrose doesn't get to kick out of a spear, And like, I feel like even if it's like not with personal preference, I feel like when guys like Ambrose and Reigns should be kind of seen as on like the same level.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe Reigns is slightly more powerful and is like the guy they're trying to push, but like Ambrose should always be that guy who's like any night he could be the one who beats Reigns, And I feel like when you have like that imbalance of like, oh, so Ambrose's finisher is too weak to take out Reigns, But Reigns' spear, you know, always does it. If nothing else, don't let him actually hit the dirty deeds on him or go for a pin. You know, like it's a little thing. But little things like that, they bother me sometimes, especially when I'm really behind the guy that it kind of probably doesn't fuck over more than I nitpick.
It's just one of those kayfabe things to me. I think finishers should be very protected. And I don't know, man. I just think that, like, Ambrose's dirty deeds, which can put down everyone on the roster. Okay, like a guy like Brock, realistically, no finisher should put him down ever.
You're right. At least not like one time off.
No, God, no. Like, Brock Lesnar's a guy you have to hit 4 times. Like, I remember last year when we were talking about WrestleMania, I was like, dude, Reigns needs to win by hitting him with like 12 spears back to back to back to back.
Right. And he kind of did that.
That's what they were going for. And it was working. And then, I mean, that one ended well, but like, I think it's just kind of weak when Dean Ambrose can fall to 1 spear.
Right. Yeah, you know, it's not even the fact that it's like the spear shouldn't be that powerful. It's just that imbalance, you know.
Exactly,
like you got to weight the finishers and the level of superstar properly. Yeah, like obviously if it was like even someone on like Bray Wyatt's level, you know, I don't think should be going down to like a spear immediately, you know, unless it's been a long ass match and he hasn't already hit a Sister Abigail that got kicked out of, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just it's one of those things. We agree on that. I'm sure Cewsh would probably have some kind of antithesis to that and like make us look like idiots, but who cares? Like right now we can be hardcore nerds that have something to bitch about.
Exactly.
All right, yeah. Overall, I pretty much agree with what you said. I liked Styles Jericho well enough. Like it wasn't spectacular. I think I liked their second match on SmackDown a little bit better actually, but it was fun. Other than that, it was a pretty whatever pay-per-view. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and move on to that, and we'll actually move on to the follow-up because that's where all the interesting stuff is. And we'll get back to Roman Reigns and the title situation and all that, but I think we need to address Shane O'Mac returning to the WWE because holy shit, when that moment happened, like literally the last thing I was expecting. I remember going into the show with the whole Legacy of Excellence award thinking, all right, this is a chance to like push someone, you know, this is a chance to like make someone come off really like just like, you know, kind of like the illegitimate son storyline sort of level of push, you know, like, hey, this person's getting the Legacy of Excellence or just something interesting. And then Steph comes out. And I mean, they played it so perfectly because I'm thinking either they just made the most boring thing they could ever do, or this is a swerve. And sure enough, it's a swerve. The last swerve I expected was to hear, "Here comes the money!" And then Shane McMahon comes stumbling out there. Not even stumbling, I'm sorry. He came out there dancing like a pro, looking sharp, looking good. You know, could use a little bit more work on the mic. It's probably been a while, so he's probably a little rusty. But other than that, like, I jumped out of my seat. Me and all my friends jumped out of our seats. Like, I haven't popped that hard. I can't think of the last time I popped that hard. Maybe when, like, Diesel showed up in the Royal Rumble. Like, this was, like, just such a big deal to me and obviously to a lot of other people because that crowd also gave one of the loudest pops I've ever heard. Like, Shane got, like, a hero's return. And just, like, the look on his face when he realized, like, damn, I'm just like the billionaire's son, and I come here and this crowd loves me like I'm fucking, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like that moment alone just floored me, and I'm so happy no matter what comes of this and any of the fallout. I was so happy to be able to witness that.
Okay, kids. Settle it. Papa Artie's got a little bit of a rant to go on. Okay, first of all, the moment was incredible. That theme is such a classic, dude. When it hit, I jumped off the couch. It was so great. Shane clearly was taken aback by the reaction, dude. He was crying. You could see the tears in his eyes. Like I don't think Shane ever expected to get that level of pop because nobody gets that level of pop, which also leads to something my buddy and I were talking about where who's left who could get that level of pop? Because it's not Dwayne, it's not Austin, it's not Anybody. I think the only person who could ever get that kind of reaction upon a return now would be CM Punk.
Yeah, I'd say you said who, and the only person I can think is Punk. Like, the only thing that could get that kind of reaction is, like, 5 years later, Daniel Bryan's like, fuck it, I'm back for one more match.
Something like that.
Yeah, but Punk especially, because it's like that level of bad blood. Yeah, exactly.
It's just like with Shane. No one expected it because he didn't leave on bad terms, but he did leave the family business. That being said, he was a little off on his mic work, which was, 6 years away from the business is going to happen.
Right.
But the only thing is, like, between him being off and Vince being senile and Stephanie just existing, something was kind of lost in translation during the promo. Like, I feel like whatever they were trying to accomplish got thrown off by the crowd reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, whatever the storyline is, it's fucking confusing as hell. And I think, like, someone fucked up somewhere. And it's like, could we have expanded just a little bit more on what was going on? I get it. We have 5 weeks to build till Mania, but...
No, I get it, because it all felt like kind of not generic. It felt
like something out of it felt like something out of a generic movie script. That's like the right way to say it. Where you're just like, oh, we're gonna monologue and then we're gonna go on about this later. It's
right.
Like it's just like there's a MacGuffin, like, oh, the lockbox. What the fuck is this lockbox of Shane's? Nobody knows.
Okay, yeah. What? Because is that something that Shane brought up?
It's something Vince brought up out of nowhere. Shane never mentioned it.
Because I'm confused. I didn't hear about the lockbox because I remember people talking about that afterwards.
No, something Vince said, and then it's like, okay, like, I get it, maybe Shane to say, like, I have my physical stocks, my company shares or whatever, or like I have a dirty secret on Vince, Vince has 2 dicks or something crazy.
Yeah, nothing like that came up. I mean, nothing. like Shane kind of hinted at it.
Yeah, I think Shane missed his cue.
That's very possible.
But then, whatever. I'll look past it because the energy was so good. Here's the thing. So Shane's 46 years old. Shane was never a great technical wrestler, but the man entertained you with his selling, with his character work. Like, who didn't love, like, the fucking Shane Shuffle and the trash-talking jerseys and the fact that he was willing to do whatever it took to get the pop. Yeah. He's also a 46-year-old father of 3 now. So let's see what the fuck he can pull off. Now, here's my other thing. So people were bitching about, like, oh, how can Vince just order The Undertaker to have a match? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I'm like, dude, yes, it does. What you got to do, all right, stick with me here, crack the kayfabe a little bit and don't have Taker be all fucking gloom and doom, fucking Papa Shango, whatever bullshit. You have him, he's in the leather pants again and stuff. You have him be a little more fucking real. And you have Vince be like, look, Shane, you abandoned me. You left my side 6 years ago. You know who never left my side in 25 years? The Undertaker. The Undertaker is the only person in this company who's ever been loyal to me. And when I tell him to have a match, he's going to goddamn have a match for me. And you have Taker kind of be... You remember when he was like that bully character to JR?
Yeah, like the I'll Make You Famous era.
Yeah, exactly. The fucking dead man walking type era.
Yeah, like just before Big Evil.
Yeah, you have him do that again. Obviously not all the way there. Keep a little kayfabe, whatever. But this is a feud where you don't have to be all spooky dark, and you can instead kind of be like less Undertaker, more Mark Calloway.
Right. Just, the gruff ass kicker.
Exactly. And then the other thing, too, is that Shane never said he was going to wrestle. Shane still has time to be like, well, Vince, you named your champion. I'm going to name mine. And It can be Cena. It can be whoever. So I think
Samoa Joe.
I think there's a chance that they bust something out. And I think that the whole Shane thing is a stall for time to see if John's ready to come back.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they got a lot of time. Obviously and the way they have a space out with their appearances too, because it's supposed to be Undertaker next week, and then Shane by himself next week, or is it both Undertaker and Shane the week after that?
I think it's going to be Taker and then Shane and then Taker Shane and then Taker Shane.
That's what I thought it was. Yeah,
and apparently, just going off what Meltzer and Alvarez have said, John, I think, gave himself a deadline of like another week and a half to see if he's ready for Mania, and he honestly could be. So who knows?
That fucking freak, man.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with pretty much everything you said. I mean, and with the Taker thing about people complaining about why Taker would do it, I also think I think it was Bill Casey on the Raja forums said it best when it's like, you know, he's like a caged lion. If you put someone in the cage, we're just gonna be like, fuck it, I'm gonna fuck you up just because, not because he's not gonna think of the ethics of like, do I want to do this man's bidding or not? No, he's probably ready to eat something.
Yeah, it's like Undertaker didn't have to wrestle fucking Triple H that first time, but Triple H got in his face about Shawn Michaels. So Taker was like, you know what? You come in my fucking cage, I'm gonna kill you, bitch.
Right.
Same thing with Punk. He didn't have to fight Punk. There was no kayfabe to it. It was just Punk fucked with him.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. So yeah, I like the idea. If they actually do Shane versus Taker, I think it's exciting just because it's different, it's unexpected, it's kind of random, it's kind of stupid. And all that just makes for the potential cocktail of magnificence when WrestleMania comes around. I do kind of worry because knowing Shane's reputation and probably people's expectations, he's going to do something really, really crazy if he can physically handle that. Otherwise, I'm sure it'll still be a really fun match. I don't really know what Control of Raw entails.
Don't even get me started. If that means another brand split, oh god, that might be my retirement from watching wrestling for a while.
Yeah, I don't want another brand split. Like, it just, I hope him saying he wants Control of Raw is very general.
Well, my thought is that if they're just saying Control of Raw and that's a way to write the Authority off TV because Triple H loses the title at Mania, then Shane becomes the GM of Raw, so Stephanie, Triple H, and Vince are gone. So it's like, oh, that's how we finally get the Authority off TV. Like this WrestleMania could be building to get the Authority off TV.
I mean, I would love if that's what it actually is.
So much, yeah.
Especially if he steps away and is like more like William Regal style.
Dude,
I love, like, actually, can we take a moment to just appreciate William Regal's style of GMing on NXT? Because like he's like the perfect like talent scout, which he is in real life, but it's like, all he's there for is to settle disputes and promote the brand and be like, oh, hey, so I just signed Shinsuke Nakamura, guys. You're welcome.
Dude, but like, you know what I love about the way they have Regal as GM? He only comes out when something goes wrong. Like an actual boss does. Like, I was a manager for years, but like, I never like stood around and was just like, hey, I'm managing this place. Look at me manage my employees. But when something went wrong, fuck yeah, I was going to kick open the door and be like, manager's here, bitch.
Right.
And that's like, when Kevin Owens assaulted Sami Zayn, or when Baron Corbin runs out there to fuck someone up, Regal comes out and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's that perfect amount of like staying away, but whenever it's necessary, having a stern authority figure.
Yes.
And he's not babyface or heel. He's made unfavorable calls. He's made favorable calls. But he's just there when the storyline dictates it, and that's why, like with Raw, when it's like the storyline is based around the authority.
Oh.
And, it works at times. Yeah, I really liked how they did it when it started with Daniel Bryan and stuff, but it's time to be done.
Dude, it's been time to be done.
For like years ago. Like a year and a half ago.
It's one of those things where I don't want to say like it bothers me, it just bores me. Like, I've already seen the Authority defeated twice or three times now. Like, you don't keep going to see a movie to see the same villains beat every time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Eventually, you want to see the Avengers fight someone else besides Loki.
Right.
So, I think it's time, because this Authority shit's been going on since 2013.
Amen.
Yeah, so SummerSlam 2013. That's 2.5 years ago. And no offense, but absolutely no one has come out better for it. Absolutely no one. Anyone who got over, even remotely, it went away.
Tired.
Yeah, like the Cody Rhodes Goldust thing. You got him over, you dropped them. You got the Usos over, you dropped them. Seth Rollins, I mean, that one kind of fizzled around. J&J Security, what happened to them? Kane, what happened to him? Daniel Bryan, what happened to him? It's like it's gone nowhere, and it's time to just put it to fucking rest.
Yep. Absolutely agree. Like, it's not going to help anyone. Just let people feud over things other than authority matters.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get to one last major thing from Raw, which was the Roman Reigns beatdown, where Triple H beat the shit out of Roman Reigns, and there was use of fake blood, which is exciting for me. Like, at first, when I first watched it, I didn't even notice it, and I was like, fuck, dude, Reigns got fucked up, you know? And that's what's so nice about it, is, like, this feeling that now we really don't know. Like, maybe it was just for this one moment because they felt it was necessary. Maybe it's just for this build-up to WrestleMania because, like, obviously there's been the rumor that we're going to get edgier material. But, you know, I feel like it's time to just move past that barrier and just say, hey, if we feel this needs blood, we're going to use blood. You know, if we really feel that this person needs to say fuck, you know, this person says fuck, and maybe fuck's extreme, you know, that was like a rare thing, and it was Vince McMahon. But, you know, like, just like the idea that it's like we're not restricted to, especially when it comes to the in-ring stuff, like being able to use fake blood and or like appropriate blading when not overused, like, just it adds so much more like grit to wrestling matches and wrestling storylines, you know. And I feel that, like, just not being able to do it ever except for when it happens hard way is, you know, it's safe, but it's limiting.
You know, the thing to me is, like, I obviously never want to go back to, like, 2003 when people basically just bled from the start of a match to the end.
Right.
I think it's fine to use blood in certain occasions. Like, every Brock Lesnar match has blood, and it makes it better. Because it makes it look like, oh, fuck it. You get into a Brock Lesnar match, you're getting into a fight for your life, you know? And I think Roman Reigns, like, remember last year at WrestleMania, Reigns was bleeding from his mouth, and it looked so good. And that could have been a capsule, too. And we never would have known. I never would have known that was fake blood had people on the internet not pointed it out. So to the average viewer, that was real. And it looked good. Triple H had blood all over his wrist tape. Reigns had blood all over himself. It looked great, and I 1,000% support the use of fake blood because it's more sanitary. It's not going to leave scars. And fuck it, dude, we know it's fake. Half the people that I know, actually probably 90% of people I know, assume it's fake blood anyway.
Right.
Like,
yeah, so like, why not go with it?
Oh, yeah, dude, I know more people who think that, like, wrestlers put blood capsules under their skin or some such shit. Like, legitimately.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like, people think, oh, they cut themselves open, put the blood capsules in, and then, like, glue it shut.
That sounds worse.
Right? And I'm like, that doesn't even sound plausible. But to people, it's like, oh, that's how they do it. So, you know what? Fuck it. Use fake blood if people already assume it's fake. Why not? We all know it's a television show presented as such.
Yeah, I think...
But, I was going to say, but I definitely agree, like, a little bit of edge to the show is fine. Like, PG is, I'm more than fine with PG, but, like, NXT to me comes across as PG with an edge. And I think that's more of what we need on the main roster is, like, don't have it be so fucking sanitized all the goddamn time. Like, let little things slip. Like, the New Day filleting themselves. I thought that was fine. Because, like, oh, look, we're playing a clarinet. Blue, 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 blue. And you're like, that's a dick joke.
Yeah.
But, like, a kid will miss it. But, like, an adult will get it. Like, when I was a kid, I never understood what The Rock meant by pie. I was like, what? Oh, man, he really likes pie. Yeah, I like pie, too. But everyone who's older understood what pie meant, you know?
Yeah, oh,
like, you don't have to
God.
go out there and be like, I'm talking about eating vagina. So I think definitely a little bit of edge would be so cool, and I don't mean edge like Adam Copeland.
Yeah, no, like let's do with a little bit less of that. Yeah, I think that's the perfect way. It's like just enough to make it, make it feel real, because life isn't sanitized. It really isn't. And when you have something that so often feels so sanitized, and like those few times that they go for humor segments, sometimes being like restricted to not being able to use certain kinds of language and stuff makes it feel that much more cheesy and lame.
Yeah.
It is, and obviously not like we want to go back to the attitude like breadth of dick jokes and crude humor, but sometimes there's a place for that stuff, and it's not, like I said, it's just nice to have that for you.
100% agree.
But yes, so that I feel like is the main thing that comes from that segment. I mean, Roman Reigns got booed, Triple H got cheered. What else is new? That's really all that matters from Raw. Some other stuff happened. If it gets important, we'll talk about it at another show. But I think it's good enough time that we take a little segue over to somewhere overseas in Japan. Now, as I explained last time in the homework segment, New Beginning was a really good pair of shows, and you should watch them if you still haven't. I don't know if Artie has seen them all the way. I've seen the New Beginning shows. There's a lot of other stuff that happened we're going to talk about. But first off, I think it's time we talk about the big thing of Kenny Omega winning the Intercontinental title. We knew it was going to happen. Like, I don't think there is a doubt in anyone's mind, even with it being Tanahashi as his opponent, which the match itself was really good. I finally finished watching it last night. Some of Omega's like just really good heel work from him. A lot less of his cheesiness. They worked the finish really well because spoilers if you haven't seen it, you've had some time. The Young Bucks are hiding under the ring, and at the beginning of the match, it's only him, Cody Hall, and I think it's Yujiro out there with them. And he's like, no, guys, you gotta go to the back. I gotta do this on my own. This is, I gotta prove to the smart mark so that I can do this. And, so you're thinking he's gonna wrestle this match solo, and then towards the end, the Young Bucks come out, hidden under the ring. Sneaky bastards. And then help him win. He doesn't win immediately, but they did a lot of great arm work and leg work, a lot of selling, a lot of good storytelling, and it made Kenny Omega look like a fucking star, which they absolutely need stars right now. I think Omega can be a big heel in the company as long as he stays on top of his game and New Japan is willing to roll with it, because he gets reactions, and he's one of the only people in Japan who actively gets boos as opposed to cheers. Like, the crowd was so pro Tanahashi. So I think this is a great move. I think it's one of the best moves they could make with Nakamura leaving. Even without him leaving, Omega being the one that dethroned him probably would have been a great moment. And I just think this could be a new era of maybe not popularity for the Bullet Club, but definitely quality of storylines, at least when it comes to like the main guy who's running it.
Yeah, so very interesting week in terms of events in New Japan. I love Omega being your new IC champion guy, and I don't remember if we talked about it. Michael Elgin getting signed to a deal with New Japan.
I don't know if we did talk about that. No, but that's great.
So yeah, like, it's interesting the wave of Gaijin that they're kind of replenishing with. And I know Cewsh really wanted to get into this, so we'll talk about it next week with the sheer amount of American talent in New Japan now. But like, we were saying once AJ left, they needed a new kind of white guy to push in that role, and I think that that's going to be Michael Elgin. And it's kind of weird to say, but I think that Kenny Omega is going to fill in the Shinsuke role, because he is white, obviously, but the dude speaks Japanese fluently, and why not? He can be another top star on that level, and I think it's going to be Omega, Elgin, and Okada as your top guys for the next 2 years at the very least. So I don't mind them loading up Kenny O with all the titles right now, and I would love for him to be at that level, that IC title level, and kind of hold that ground. And I really wouldn't mind Michael Elgin kind of going up top to like beat Okada for the IWGP title, because I think he'd make a great champion. His Japan work is fucking phenomenal. So yeah, very interesting. Did you mention the Never six-man titles?
No, I did not.
So the Elite. So in the funniest fucking transition, Bullet Club B team won the six-man titles, immediately lost them back to the Briscoes and Yano, and then they immediately lost it back to the Elite. So, like, I get that they're pushing the Bucks and Kenny Omega as, like, the forerunners of the group, but I just find it funny how they're literally just pushing those three now, and the rest of the Bullet Club can get wrecked.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I guess as the news came from last time that I died from, and I have recovered. It took me some time, but I am back. I think it's really funny that, because I guess Tama Tonga is going to be doing a tag team now with his brother, which could be something. But do you think they're actually going to get much of a push as part of, like, do you think
Yes.
the rest of you think so? You think they're going to get that chance?
I think they're going to use Tama Tonga and Camacho to fill in the role of Gallows and Anderson. I think
that makes sense.
My one, and I know Cewsh really wants to get into this, so I'll save some of that talk for next week, but New Japan has this big issue where they don't want to push their own fucking talent, and they just want to push the white guys. And I think that that's what's going on. They want the Bucks as their tag champs. They want Tama Tonga and Fale and whoever else as their tag champs. They want the Bullet Club basically just holding every fucking title. And, I mean, I don't particularly mind. I like all these guys. I just think it is a little strange. And, like, I don't see Great Bash Heel holding the tag titles for much longer.
I hope they do, because, you know, I love Hanma and all that. And I think it could be, you know, I would like to see it stray away from Bullet Club for a bit, but either way, those divisions the tag divisions need like more teams put into them, especially the heavyweight one. Like it's been lacking for a while.
Well, I don't know why, and like I understand what they're doing with Noah, but why can't they just bring back Vance Archer and Davey Boy Smith Jr.? Because those two are a great team, and I would not mind them tearing it up in the heavyweight division again.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right, so obviously we have Kenny Omega winning the Intercontinental title and the Elite ultimately winning the six-man titles back, which happened on the Honor Rising show, which we're going to go ahead and move to that because New Beginning, Day 1 and Day 2 were great shows with great matches, but really the most newsworthy things we kind of already talked about. So let's just go on to, Seidel and Ricochet won the tag titles, which is a good match too. But so if you want to know that, there's that. But we're just going to go ahead and move on to the Honor Rising shows, which were basically, I mean, they were more like the ROH versus New Japan shows in Japan. So it's kind of like new territory from the Japanese guys coming to ROH or coming to America. And Ishii ended up winning the television title from Roderick Strong, which I know almost every single person in like my immediate circle of wrestling is so stoked for that because Ishii he's a great talent. He's one of the best wrestlers they have in New Japan. But in New Japan, it feels like he can only get so high, and I feel like they're just not going to put any faith into him to like really push him into the world title standing. So having him go to ROH where he's new and fresh but experienced enough to kick everyone's ass and, you know, get like a push and have him win the TV title, it's just such a like I said, it's fresh. It feels fresh, and I think it'll be such a great thing for ROH in the TV title division, and I think they should have him run with it for a while.
Yeah, man, this win was so awesome. Obviously, I'm not a fan of Roderick Strong. Him beating Jay Lethal for the TV title, I wasn't even a big fan of. So I like that the TV title's now on Ishii, a guy who. Here's the thing. So Ishii, it's fresh for New Japan because he's never worked there, but he's a guy who comes in with a huge amount of credibility. Coming off of, what has he had, like 3 5-star Meltzer matches in the last year? He's had
something stupid like that.
That great run with the Never Belt. He had he's coming off such great matches with Shibata and stuff. And it's like, coming into into Ring of Honor, he's never worked there before, so it's fresh, it's new, but he's a guy who comes in with a huge amount of credibility. And this is the first time they've really had a guy come over with a huge amount of credibility that isn't coming from WWE or TNA.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And I like the fact that this is basically like, let's strengthen our relationship. You know, like these two promotions have been trading tag titles all year, last 2 years actually. The junior belts, the heavyweight belts, Ring of Honor belts, now the Never six-man belts. I think that this is one more way for Ring of Honor to be like, hey, New Japan, we're extending our hand of friendship. We're going to make your guy the TV champion. And then I think that's why I think it'll lead to a Ring of Honor guy winning either the Never title or the World Heavyweight title.
Yeah.
And kind of making the two sets of belts between the two promotions more fluid, especially with like New Japan doing like letting the Ring of Honor title be defended at Wrestle Kingdom and shit. I think it's cool. And I think it'll actually be really cool to come out of left field if they have someone from from New Japan come beat Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor title. Because Jay Lethal has had, over the last 3 years or whatever, he's beaten everybody in Ring of Honor.
Right.
So to me, it would make sense if someone from New Japan was the one who beat him for the Ring of Honor title.
Yeah, that I think that's actually that could be a good route to go with. And plus, if nothing else, like having him go on a run of defending against guys from New Japan because he's beaten everyone in Ring of Honor would be such a good storyline. Even if it doesn't end with the New Japan guy getting it, it's just like that seems like such a smart way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this working agreement between Ring of Honor and New Japan in general has been fantastic, and it just keeps getting better. And just like the thing I like about it is you have two companies that have their own rosters, have their own philosophies on booking and, you know, how a wrestling match should be, yet they work together so well as far as how their styles mesh. And at any point that like they're getting such like good faith with each other and having such a good working relationship that at any point you can just have a sudden shift of, you know, oh shit, Hiroshi Tanahashi is, you know, feuding with Dalton Castle in Ring of Honor and they're gonna fight for the vacant Ring of Honor title. You know, you never know, like something crazy could happen like that. And I love that vibe. And it's so nice to see a working relationship that feels so even-sided.
Well, it's a working relationship that feels like an actual relationship, not just like, hey, we're going to send a bunch of Noah guys to come do Ring of Honor shows, put all your belts on them. Or,
right.
Hey, we're only going to send Daniel Bryan to go work Noah, but no one can watch this until like a year from now when it comes out on DVD. You know, like, you can see Ring of Honor guys on New Japan World. You can see New Japan guys on Ring of Honor television. So It's like a very cool working relationship. And no promotion treats the other guys like, oh, they don't exist anywhere else. They only exist here. You know, like they come in with credibility and they talk about them as the stars they are. And the titles being defended on both programs. I just think it's such a great relationship. And I hope it continues to be this way. And I kind of hope the network continues to grow. I wish that they would maybe integrate some Noah stuff into Ring of Honor as well.
Yeah, that could be cool too. Because I mean, Noah's I still haven't really been following it, but Noah's been doing pretty good for themselves over the last year, haven't they?
Yeah, attendance is up and stuff. Like they're doing much better now that Gato's been booking for them.
Is Suzuki still the champ?
No, it's oh god, I can't remember his name. It's a Noah guy, but the Noah guy joined Suzuki-gun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Suzuki lost the belt to
It's like Suwama or something, or
oh god, I can't remember. He lost it to Kyushu's boyfriend, and then
Marufuji.
Yeah, to Marufuji, and then whoever the guy is, I want to say it's Suwama probably, or whatever his name is.
Or Seguira or something like that.
Beat him for the title, and then joined Suzuki-gun. So
nice.
It's a pretty solid storyline. Suzuki-gun's still dominating Noah.
That's awesome. That's great. I really can't wait to see Suzuki come back to New Japan.
So
I've been
much, man.
And they need him right now. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to one last international, more importantly, kind of New Japan-centric storyline of Ibushi. No, it's not a storyline. Sorry, news bit. Ibushi going freelance. He is leaving / has left New Japan. I think it's already official that he's gone, and is going freelance. I think he's supposed to be making like his own. Is it a wrestling promotion that he's trying to make?
It's not so much a promotion. It's just a way to promote himself. So he's like, it's called the Ibushi Wrestling National Institute or something like that. It's just so wherever he goes, they have something to call like his home. But he's like still doing stuff for DDT. I think he just wanted out of New Japan because he's been killing himself over there. And what's it worth to him? Like, they're never going to push him farther than he was being pushed. So he might as well just give him the finger and fucking do his own deal.
Yeah, I can understand that. The good thing about this is, one, I mean, obviously Ibushi's probably going to be happy. He can kind of wrestle wherever the hell he wants at this point. He's apparently still sticking with DDT, so he's going to be where his heart is. And this leads a lot of room for him to possibly be in that Global Cruiserweight series.
Yes, I want that very much so. Hell, not only does it leave him room to do the Global Cruiserweight tournament, it leaves him room to end up in NXT, which I think could be a goal.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
That would be really cool because we're already getting some Japanese flair there, and I feel like Ibushi would be just such a talent for NXT to have. And
Ibushi, it's not like no one in NXT fucking knows him. Like, he's had good matches with Shinsuke. He's had matches with Neville. He's had matches with Zayn. He's worked with all these guys already, and they all put him over huge. Like, Chris Jericho had Neville and Zayn on his podcast once, and like 20% of the conversation with them just saying how fucking awesome Kota Ibushi is.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've heard that one before.
So, like, his friends are there, and I think, and obviously anyone can correct me, but I think that's the idea, is for him to work his way to WWE NXT.
Well, I hope that's true because, I mean, DDT is great, but it's taken me a while to, like, actually get in and try and follow DDT.
I don't know where to watch it, so.
It seems like, I need some context there. And from what I've seen, it's great. I have watched the show before and I loved it, but NXT is a lot easier for me to watch, and I would love to see Ibushi there. But that might be getting way far ahead of ourselves. All we know is that Ibushi is no longer with New Japan, and who knows if we'll ever see him there again. But we'll definitely be seeing him around wrestling still, so that's a plus. So that brings us past all of the news bits. And, of course, now that we're done with all the news, there's only one other thing that we have to do. And what is it? Is it trade underwear? Is that what we do at the end of the show?
Yeah, I thought that's literally what I just took my pants off.
Fuck. Shit. Okay, so let me get my pants up. Oh, now, of course we trade underwear, but we also have to do some questions. That's what it was. Let me go ahead and slip these off here. And then I guess it's time for some questions. But now these questions are a little centered around a certain theme because of a tweet that Cewsh had put out. And I can't go against it, especially when we have such a perfect title for it. So instead of the usual 3 ain't enough, man, I need 5, which we've now switched to 5 was too much, man, I need 3. This week it is going to be 5 was too much, man, I need tree questions. All right, cats and kittens, this is your segment of the show and also temporarily my segment of the show where we take all your questions from Twitter, Raja, Cewsh Reviews, Blogspot, Cewshreviews.com, probably email, and all these other places that Cewsh has down so easily. I don't know how he does this. I cannot keep up with that at all. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into the questions. And the first tree-centric question that we have comes from Akatsuki Artist from Twitter. If Roman Reigns were to face a sequoia tree on Raw, would the crowd cheer for said sequoia tree?
See, I mean, I guess it all depends. Is Roman Reigns doing his fucking stupid-ass baby face? I respect you because I'm Roman Reigns. Fucking shtick. Or is he going to be like, yo, fuck trees? Because if he goes the fuck trees route, I think people might cheer for him. I think you're going to piss off a couple environmentalists. But, like, if you see a couple guys out there who look like they shoot things for fun, then you're going to be like, you know what, dude? Fuck trees. I'm with Reigns.
That's actually a great answer. And now all I know is I want to see Roman Reigns with the real man's man gimmick just so he can be a lumberjack.
I would actually kind of love that. And then he can switch to flannel gear.
Oh, dude, just no, okay. He's wearing the typical Shield gear that he's got now, only it's all got a flannel design on it.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah, I think if he were to face a sequoia tree on Raw, I think the crowd probably would cheer the sequoia tree. In fact, I think that the sequoia tree would be the next Daniel Bryan. Like, what's stopping us? Like, it's 2016. Like, trees can be world champions, right?
Hey, man, I think I've already seen a ladder win the title before. Like, I'd perfectly be content with seeing a tree win the title.
Damn right. Reference to DDT, we're going to keep it going strong, even if we don't watch a shitload of it. All right, so next up, from Super Nerd Daniel on Twitter, if Cesaro were to giant swing a California redwood into an interdimensional vortex, where would it end up?
That's actually a very interesting question, Super Nerd Daniel. I think it might possibly end up. God, where would it end up? See, the thing is, Cesaro is so supernaturally strong that even though he's already throwing it through a what did he say?
An interdimensional vortex. This was part of the tweet that Cewsh put out.
That's the problem is that. So it might go through the interdimensional vortex, but Cesaro throws it so strong it could actually rip a hole in the fabric of time itself, including through the interdimensional vortex. And I think the tree would actually end up in a universe that is exactly the same as where it came from, except Cesaro is champion there.
Holy crap. Oh, that would be the best spot in a match ever.
Like, he throws it, and then the tree shows up in an alternate universe, knocks out the opponent, and Cesaro pins him for the win.
Oh, my God. Like, that just sounds like... these are great ideas. You are coming up with so many awesome ideas for shit that could happen in wrestling in the future, and I am loving it.
See, I should write for Chikara.
You really should. Speaking of Chikara, my answer was going to be the redwood would end up in parts unknown, just like it happened in Chikara when I can't believe can't think of his fucking name, Archibald Peck, got knocked into parts unknown.
Yeah, by the way, Archibald Peck, please come out of retirement. We miss you.
Yeah, like, stop being dead, man. Like, we love you. You were great. You were just on the height of excitement. Keep that excitement going.
Yeah.
All right. So the final and last tree-themed question of the week, coming from Voss451 on Twitter. Are pine trees indeed the best smelling trees, or is the car freshener industry lying to us?
Dude, pine trees smell great. I actually used to have 2 pine trees in my front yard, and they were awesome. But yeah, pine trees are dope. They smell great. Although that's not the best air freshener. I don't exactly know why black ice smells so good. Or, like, I've never actually smelled real-life black ice. So I think that's a lie. Because I don't think ice smells that fucking good. And I rock the hell out of some black ice air fresheners.
Yeah, especially black ice. Like, who really likes black ice?
Dude, who likes black anything, right? Right?
Yeah, totally. That's not at all racist, asshole.
I can say that because I have a black co-host here, so.
Hey, all right, fuck. All right, that validates you. Fair enough, but I'm remembering this next time I send out Christmas cards. I mean, I think Artie answered that question pretty damn well, but I don't think that pine trees are the best smelling trees. I think the best smelling trees are the kind that are illegal. You know what I'm saying?
They're legal in my state, so.
Then they're not as cool, so I don't care. All right, and that brings us to the end of the question segment, which also brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. I hope you could tolerate us without Cewsh. I mean, it makes us more tolerable, but maybe you only listen just so we can berate Cewsh the whole time. So that's why we try to keep some of that beratement alive in this show. So best of luck to everyone with your life. But before we go, we might have some advice to help you. Well, maybe no advice, but we might have some homework. Artie, do you have any homework for these people?
That's a very good question. Do I have any homework for these people? How about you go fuck yourselves?
That is a very, very helpful homework. You'll learn a lot about how the world really doesn't care about you.
True words, true words.
Unfortunately, I do not have any good homework for you, but there's a lot of shows that have come out recently. The New Beginning shows, if you still haven't seen them, watch them. The Honor Rising shows, at least watch the main events because some crazy shit went down. And, of course, the Ring of Honor show itself, 14th anniversary. Did you watch that, Artie?
No, I have not watched it yet. I did order it and record it. I just literally have not had time, and I've been sick, so I drank some cough medicine last night and put me to sleep.
That sounds like a much more enjoyable night anyway. That's a joke. I'm kidding. That card actually looks pretty cool. I don't know how it turned out, but I know I plan on watching it within the next few days. Hopefully you guys do too. And until that time, it is time for me to tell you all to stay classy, don't smoke crack, and always remember to eat your dildos and burgers.